the world's rarest album. I can't believe it. After all this time, it's finally mine. Yes! Hey Vinyl community, it's been a while, so I thought I'd come and say hello and show you what I've been listening to lately, and hopefully you find something you might like, and yeah, let me know. So first one I listened to today was Iron Butterfly's Heavy from 1968. This is a really cool album if you like your kind of psych rock, your 60s psych rock. This is quite organ based, but it has really cool like psych guitars on it. Really groovy, just great upbeat psychedelic rock. Very 60s, very cool really. What inspired me was I was reading this book earlier in the day by Danny Goldberg, In Search of the Lost Chord, 1967 and the hippie idea. And it's a really interesting book about how the whole hippie movement got started, and you know how acid worked its way into music of the time and spawned all this amazing creative stuff, and about San Francisco and all that. So that inspired me to pull this one off the racks and give it a spin, and yeah, it's really cool. So yeah, check it out. Bit of jazz, Clifford Brown. I'm not sure if I've shown this before, I don't think I have. But anyway, yeah, this is original 50s UK press on Vogue. Really cool. You know, not his best stuff, but it's quite light. You know, Clifford Brown can be quite fiery, and he's one of the best trumpet players of all time. You know, just could stop on a dime, and you know, no problem with any tempo, and just an amazing, you know, whatever tempo he played at, it was completely fluid and just precision, perfect playing. And yeah, if you don't know Clifford Brown, you're into jazz or interested in jazz, and want some great trumpet playing, some of the best you'll hear, then Clifford Brown's your man. You know, so yeah, check it out. Oh, and if you're curious, that one is on the Pink Vogue label, which is pretty nice. Sounds really good, that one as well. Okay, so next one, Dennis Wilson with Bamboo. Dennis Wilson is well known for his album Pacific Ocean Blue, which is a fantastic album, you know, really, really amazing album. Dennis Wilson was the drummer of the Beach Boys, if you don't know. And then he kind of started singing here and there in the Beach Boys, you know, in later years, and then kind of made this amazing cult album, Pacific Ocean Blue. And then this album, Bamboo, is the next album that he planned to release, but unfortunately he died. He drowned, and it never happened basically. And then this is what's left of those sessions. It's a 2-album set. This came out on Record Store Day a couple of years ago, maybe last year, I can't remember now. I think it was a couple. On green vinyl. Really nice set. Pacific Ocean Blue, you know, that's all kind of blue. You know, I think there's like a blue vinyl version you can get, and then very sort of blue aesthetic. But this is all green Bamboo. So nice kind of green marbled vinyl there, with a green kind of label there. And it's got some kind of notes on the sleeve here telling you about the sessions and everything, and what he planned. But yeah, fantastic stuff. It's not Pacific Ocean Blue, you know, it's not that good, but it is very good. It's different to that. You know, if you want more of the same, you know, it's hard to say really. It's a kind of a different vibe in a way. It's a bit more kind of almost verging towards, dare I say it, yacht rock, but don't be put off by that. It's what I mean is it's got that very sort of 70s, I'm drinking and wearing a Hawaiian shirt and living it up on my boat, but at the same time I'm kind of addicted to cocaine and a bit of heroin, and I'm fucked up, and this music's got an edge to it at the same time, which is kind of exactly what it is really, unfortunately. But yeah, very, very cool though at the same time. Very cool. Dennis was very cool. So it's still got that cool Pacific Ocean Blue vibe to it. It's just a bit different, but definitely worth owning if you're into him and don't own Bamboo. and definitely get it because the songs are really strong. They're really well done. Some really great stuff on here. There's quite a few tracks on here where I'm like, oh man, this is fantastic. So yeah, definitely check out Bamboo. Okay, so yeah, this is a really cool one. Jon Stephens Away, Somewhere in Between on Vertigo. On the Spaceship label, it's not a swell because this came out a bit later. So it's on the Spaceship label, which is cool in its own right, but obviously the Vertigo hallucinogenic swell is obviously a lot cooler. But anyway, this is a really great album musically. If you're into like Nucleus and that kind of jazz funk thing, then I think you'll really like this. This is an album that you can get for cheap, and it's really, really good. I couldn't believe how good it was the first time I heard this, because it's one of those albums that you can get for nothing, and you think it'd be more collectible, because it's really, really good. I was listening to it earlier, and I was like, man, like, this album is so good, and it's so sort of slept on, I guess. Maybe you know it, I don't know. Maybe it is more popular than I realised, but it's really cool. Yeah, just excellent jazzy, funky fusion, brilliant playing, really, really good. Jon Stephens was on drums, you got Nick Stevens on electric bass, don't know if these names will mean anything to you, Ron Herman on acoustic bass, Robert Calvert, soprano and tenor sax, David Cole electric guitar, and then Breno T. Fordo on percussion. But yeah, really, really good. Check it out. This is one that kind of cheered me up a lot over the winter months. Johnny Guitar Watson with Giant. And there he is holding the world in his hands. And if you like your funk, your 70s funk, check this out if you don't know it. Just brilliant, upbeat. He was a great guitar player, quite influential guitar player. His earlier stuff is more bluesy, really interesting kind of organ for its time, actually, quite interesting music. But then he became more funky as the trend went. But this is great. He's very talented, fantastic guitar player, as I say. Almost verging on disco at some points, but really well done and great. Really funky and just a fun album that you can put on at any time and it will cheer you up. Good Friday night album this is. And as well, this is signed. I don't know if this is someone that was messing around and they just kind of pretended to be Johnny Guitar Watson for whatever reason, but it actually says on it, to Catherine, a lovely lady, Johnny Guitar Watson. So whether that's real or not, I don't know if you can see it. Is it real? Maybe. Either way, great album. Pretty cool. This is a great one. I like my African music, my Afrobeat stuff. This is an original copy. Nigerian, if my memory serves me correct. Yeah, there we are, Nigeria on the cover there. Fabamo Adole, and it's Supersonic Sound Makers of Nigeria, Itendo. This is fantastic. This is almost like ethereal in places. Like it's got this real kind of ethereal, organ, I guess, in places. It gets into this like hypnotic trance. This music, it's really good. If you can find this online anywhere, I recommend checking it out because it's excellent stuff. Really, really good. You know, I can't get enough of this kind of Afrobeat, high life stuff. It's just magical music to me. To my English ears, you know, maybe it's normal to if you're African around at that time, but to me it's like magic, you know. So yeah, definitely check that out. Ron Wood. I've got my own album to do. This is great. You might think a solo album by Ronnie Wood might not be that great, but actually this is fantastic. It's kind of like a Stones album in places. Like the first track's has got Mick Jagger on it singing, and it's got Keith Richards on here. Willie Weeks plays on it. Ian McLagan. So you've got some sort of faces there because obviously Ronnie was in the Faces and that. And yeah, just a great album, really. You know, not like amazing, but just really good, really fun. Sort of, if you're in the mood for some rock and roll, some 70s upbeat rock and roll with a lot of feeling, I would say this album has. You know, a lot of It's real groove, you know. Ronnie Wood, you know, say what you will about him, he's not perfect, but as a person, but then he's in the Rolling Stones, he's a rock and roller, you know what I mean? He's not, you know, they are what they are, you know. But say what you want about him, but great musician to me. You know, he might not be a virtuoso, but he's got a lot of feel. He really has got a lot of feel, and you know, he can play the blues. He really can. You know, when he bends those riffs, you really feel it. When he plays that slide guitar, you really feel it. It's in him, you know. And so yeah, it's got Far East Man on it, George Harrison's Far East Man, and George plays on this as well. And I think this was the first time that song was released, actually, before George put it out on his own album, and I think he liked it and put it on his own album. Is that right? But yeah, George plays on it. I think he even sings backing vocals on that song as well. Sure, the One You Need's got a lot of feeling on it. Am I Grooving You? Great groovy song, as you might tell from the title. I Can Feel the Fire, the opener with Mick Jagger. Just a really good album. And then you can see Keith Richards in the background there, and a few of the guys. So yeah, if you like the Stones, I would say definitely pick this up if you don't have it. And then talking to George Harrison, I listened to this classic, All Things Must Pass. Just wonderful. If you know this album, you probably love it. Or maybe you're just kind of whatever. But to me, if you're a Beatles fan and you don't own this, then you're seriously slipping, because this is maybe the best Beatles solo album. Controversial, contentious subject, I know. I love Paul McCartney's Ram. I love John Lennon's Imagine. But there's just something about this album that's kind of magical, you know. You know, George Harrison, I'll be honest, his voice and his music, it's very melancholy. You know, it's got this very sort of longing, aching, melancholy feel to it. And I think that was true, you know. He was kind of trying to communicate with something more in life. Like, he went all spiritual and everything because the Beatles, you know, all that fame and money and power and everything, like he said, it's not the answer, you know. And he went in search of something a bit deeper, and you hear that in his voice, I think, and you hear that in the songs. Oh, My Sweet Lord, you know. You hear him longing for more, searching for more. And sometimes it can be a bit depressing, frankly. It's as beautiful as it is depressing in some ways, because like I say, it's quite melancholy, the vibe, to me. But at the same time, it's got your upbeat songs on here as well. Apple Scruffs, that's lovely. You know, this is an original copy, the 3-album set. So you got your two albums, and then you got your jam album at the end. This comes with the poster as well, which I won't get out because I don't want to damage it, basically. But yeah, fantastic, lovely album. If you don't know it, you probably do if you're watching this, but if you don't, then you need to. So yeah, there's this trio here, Martin, Bogan and the Armstrongs. Or Martin, Bogan and the Armstrong. Basically, these were 3 blues guys who've been around a long time, I believe, some of them since the 30s. I know Carl Martin because I randomly stumbled across some of his old blues recordings from the 30s. And I was like, wow, this guy's great. I couldn't believe how good it was. I couldn't believe I'd never heard of him. And then I picked these up randomly because I thought they looked cool at a record fair a few years ago. Just looking at the back, I thought, oh, that looks interesting. And then I listened to it and I thought, this is really good. And then I looked at it, Carl Martin. I thought, oh, hang on. That must be the same Carl Martin that I was listening to on YouTube. And it turns out it is. And yeah, really great stuff. If you like your blues, check these guys out. Really sort of great feeling in their voices, great tone. You know, you can tell they've lived a life. Just lovely stuff, really, if you like your blues. I'm trying to find what I've done with this other one now. Oh well, I had another one with a better cover, but anyway, I've told you their name now. Martin Bogan and Armstrong, check them out, great stuff. Oh, here it is, of course. Cool cover. I'll finish up now with some Beatles. Magical Mystery Tour EP, the original EP from '67. My mum bought me this a few years ago as a birthday present. If you don't know, this originally came out as this EP in England, and then it was later released as a full album in America and the rest of the world, I guess here as well. But originally it came out as an EP, and it's lovely. It's got a booklet here. With sort of great photos from the film, and a kind of comic book strip here with different stuff. Great photo there of them looking rather blue and like they might have done a acid tab or two perhaps along the way. Just general kind of photos there. But yeah, what can you say really? Just classic, all-time classic. It's even got the lyrics sheet in it as well. And a photo there of them all. It's interesting, it's got here, where is she? I can't remember now, but there's a documentary about their secretary. It was on Netflix, so I watched it. It's pretty interesting. And she's in there somewhere, I can't remember where, but she's in there. And she talks about this whole time really. It's quite interesting, so I recommend that. But yeah, Blue Jay Way on this is one of my favourite Beatles songs, George Harrison's Blue Jay Way. If you've never seen that, YouTube Blue Jay Way, and if you've never done acid before, then you get the idea. It's really cool. So yeah, good to talk to you again, and as always, leave me a comment. Let me know how you're doing. If you find anything there of interest, let me know. The world's gone a bit crazy at the moment, as you may have noticed, and hopefully this was a bit of a distraction for you. And until next time, hopefully it won't be as long this time, and I'll actually make an effort and do some more. So yeah, take care. Until next time. The world's rarest album. After all this time, I can't believe it. It's finally mine. Oh, I can give up collecting now and go back to